How's it? Today is March 20th, but this is going to be a super cut, the mega cut of my freestyle deload. So it's gonna just be the last 3 days of stuff. I talked with my coach over the weekend, and he was like, "Yeah, like probably need a deload. Like Friday didn't go very well. It was a successful week though last week. I hit a PR on Monday, made my Tuesday squats, which were difficult last or the week before that, and Wednesday no issues. So overall, last week's mulligan was a success, right? But it's nearing the point where I probably can't push anymore. Not to the point where it's like I'm gonna be hurting myself or anything, but my progress is definitely not linear anymore, and so this week is just really like a deload week. Like altogether, just do whatever I want to do to feel good. I had a couple stipulations that my coach told me. He said, basically, you want to make sure that we squat a little bit, squat like 120 and deadlift like 120. It doesn't matter really how many I'm doing them or what have you, but I I told him I'm gonna do some power stuff on Friday and just really do bodybuilding stuff for the rest of the week. So that's what I did. So today is Monday, Well, not today. 2 days ago was Monday, but this video here is from Monday. It was International Bench Press Day, right? That's like International Chest Day is Monday everywhere around the world. And so I was like, all right, I'm on bench. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I think I did 3 sets of 10 at 185. Again, I didn't care about what I was doing. I was like, all right, like just do what I want to get like a pump in and feel like I'm making some amount of progress, doing some amount of work, right? So I did that, and then I moved into some dumbbell incline bench press. Don't know how many I did here. I'll be honest. I did 65 until it felt good. I think I did 4 sets. No clue. I cannot tell you. But I think that's honestly a lot of the fun about being super flexible with what I'm doing, like freestyling it to just pick whatever exercises I want that I think are gonna be fun, that I think are gonna make me feel like I'm working. Like I don't feel like I've really hit the point where I need to be super optimized, especially if I'm just doing bodybuilding stuff. Like bodybuilding to me is a lot more feel, and you don't need to necessarily execute on the numbers. So if your body is feeling the weight that you're moving, then you should probably just keep that weight. So I just did a bunch of stuff. I don't even remember off the top of my head. I mean, we're watching the videos now, but some lateral raises there. Ooh, this is probably one of my favorite chest exercises. It's not really I don't see people do it very often. I mean, I go to a powerlifting weightlifting gym, so there's not a lot of bodybuilders here anyway. But it's essentially like a dumbbell crossover, and you can do this with any dumbbell. A lot of times people use this for like a cable crossover, but I think this is a little bit more accessible. Also, it's a lot easier to like really like feel where you're moving everything, and like because you're using a dumbbell to kind of cross over your body, you can kind of lean into it or lean out of it as far as that contraction goes in the chest, right? But that was basically it for the Monday. Yesterday I spent a very long time with my parents. I'm from Hawaii, so I haven't had a chance to see my parents in a really long time. Um, and it was such a good day. I spent like 14 hours with them. I just felt very, very, very happy to spend time with them. I I feel like this happens a lot in adult life with lots of people, but I realized a few years ago that my parents are just they're just people too. When you're a kid and all these things, you look at your parents as kind of, at least in my recollection of my childhood, is like they're really there just as like guardians and stuff like that. But it wasn't until a few years ago, within the last 10 years for sure, probably honestly in the last like 7 years, where um, I really became friends with my parents. And I wish that happened a lot sooner in my life. They're very, very, very awesome people. They're easily two of my favorite people ever. So I spent the entire day with them, got lunch with them, got dinner with them. They were in San Francisco, and I live in San Jose. So that's like 45 minutes to an hour away, depending on traffic. Um, and I was like, okay, like I'm probably not gonna lift on Tuesday. Like I don't care, it's a deload. And like hanging out with my parents is much more important to me. I haven't seen them in over a year. Um, but I was like, okay, like maybe I get back after eating dinner, drank some drinks, ate some good food. I was like, maybe if I go, I can go to the gym later in the evening. So I went. It was like 11:45 or something when I got there. So basically, these sets are starting at like 12 ish. But yeah, this is my back squat at 120. This is 5 fives here. This was honestly miserable. Like my left knee, I don't know if you can see it or what, but my left knee is hurting. Like it feels like there's a ton of pressure in my patella, and it doesn't feel like I can manipulate the weight in a way that will make that go away. And I really wanted to just do the squat today and get out. Sorry, yesterday. I keep saying today, but I really just wanted to do the squat and then to just get out of the gym so that I could say that I did the 120 squats, but my knee was not working. It felt like I couldn't push through my left leg. So it felt like I had to push with my right leg and kind of structurally support everything from the right leg, kind of, and then allow the left knee to straighten out, if that makes sense. If you could see a front angle, for sure I'm twisting and I'm definitely favoring my right leg. But as the sets go on, I tried my best to get a little bit more posterior chain activation as I'm lowering the weight a little bit. If I'm a little bit more slow, a little bit slower, then I am afforded the opportunity to feel the position and where it should be and where I think it is hurting. And I thought that, like, honestly, it was gonna get better, but it did not at all. So I ended up staying after the squats to make sure that I can get back to where my knee should be feeling. And that is, well, first and foremost, I thought this would help, kind of removing the knee sleeves so that there wasn't anything kind of impinging on the joint itself. That was a mistake because I don't know if it was worse, but it definitely was not better. And because my knee sleeves or my knees were a little bit more exposed and not as compressed, it made the reps harder. I don't know if it made the pain worse, but it made the reps harder overall. And so, going back to those accessories that I was mentioning was this here. This is the GHD hamstring curl or whatever, Nordic hamstring curl. I don't know. This is something that I used to do on all of my warm up days for squats, but I stopped doing them for whatever reason. I feel like I stopped doing them because my knee started feeling better. And what it basically is it is kind of forcing me to activate my hamstrings before I squat. And what that does is, as I'm loading the bar up, the weight feels much more stable over my knee essentially, and the knee doesn't hurt at all. And so, like, me doing those Bulgarian split squats indicates that my knee wasn't hurting, like, at all. So it seemed like I figured out the fix for it very quickly. So I think next week when I squat, I don't know how heavy I'm going to be doing or whatnot, but I'm going to start with the GHD hamstring curls, or at least the hamstring curl negatives, and then I'm going to do some of those as well here. The banded hamstring curls. I think those help a lot because it's super low intensity. I can do 1,000,000 reps and get my hamstring active. But that was basically all for the Tuesday. And then today was my back day. Back day has been historically like one of my favorite days. There used to be a machine at Stanford's gym. It was a seated rowing machine, like a chest supported seated rowing machine, but you could load the weights separately, and there were like 3 different angles for the handle. You could do like a neutral grip, an overhand grip, or a supinated grip, and that thing was awesome. what I would do is I would load up really heavy on one side, and then I would basically twist my whole body, so I would get the longest amount of stretch, and then twist against it so I get the longest amount of pull on the way back in. That was my favorite thing to do in any exercises that were not the weightlifting things. But today, we don't have that really at the gym, so just did what I could. Did some supinated bent over barbell rows, went up to 80 kilos. Don't know how many I did. Don't know how many sets I did. It is what it is. Like, whatever. I felt really good. So I just was like, okay, this is good enough. So then I stopped, and then I moved into some single arm dumbbell rows. This right here is a really, really, really awesome movement. I think that I want to continue doing these on maybe on the Wednesdays for the clean and jerk days or whatnot. But I think that I would get a lot out of these. I also do think that my back looks fucking sick over here. I want to be a bodybuilder, I guess. I was saying that a lot over the week because I was basically just doing bodybuilding stuff, and it's like, oh, if I dedicated more time to bodybuilding and stuff, I feel like I could build a lot of muscle, because right now I don't really do any bodybuilding stuff. Like, what I do is, I guess, accessory lifts, but that doesn't really mean that I'm necessarily bodybuilding at it, looking straight at it, It feels like whatever muscle I've accumulated is just a byproduct of me doing accessories so that I don't get hurt. And like, I guess that's really how the Chinese end up getting really big, and the Russians used to also get really big. But I feel like I feel like I would enjoy just dedicating a training block to bodybuilding. I wonder, like, how much weight I can put on, because right now I'm probably like 165 ish, and like my weight class is 160.6. Like 73 kilos is 160.6 pounds, and I feel like I could get that to that weight, being more muscly, like having more muscle, which means that I would end up ultimately being leaner at the end of the day. So I don't know. That seems like maybe something I want to do in the future. I don't know. I maybe it's just because I'm doing that now. I feel like once I get back to weightlifting, I might have a different opinion of things, and where I'm looking at, everything. But that's it for the last 3 days. Thank you for watching. Shoots.